Good afternoon and welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee and today I am going to make Cowboy Candy relish. And if you're not familiar with Cowboy Candy, it is like addictive. It is jalapenos that are in a sweet, spicy, little bit of spice brine. And so it's like a sweet heat. And I do slices that I add on to salads and nachos, but a lot of times I chop them up and add them onto things that way, almost like, a relish. So this year, I'm gonna do one batch that is processed in the food processor. So they're chopped up, and then I'll add them to the brine. So it'll be like a Cowboy Candy relish. And I know that 1870s homestead, they do it that way over there, and I just think I'm always taking them out and they're a little bit sticky and chopping them up, and this is a way of avoiding that. So come along with me and why we are making Cowboy Candy relish. I picked these yesterday and they're just beautiful, firm, fresh jalapenos. So I started washing them, and I'm going to get everything together for the brine, and I got my food processor out to chop them up. In the crock pot, I have homemade spaghetti sauce from my canned tomatoes and fresh veggies we have on hand, because it's really nice when you're canning to have something in the crock pot. I was so excited to see this many jalapenos, and I truly love this relish, or the Cowboy Candy. So to make it is a joy for me. It is something that I love to do, and I can't wait to have on the shelf, because you have to let them sit for about a month at least until they really have the good flavor. The first thing we need to do is get the brine going. And so we use cider vinegar for this. And I'm gonna double check. Yes, it's 2 cups of cider vinegar. And make sure you get the vinegar that says the 5% acidity on it. That is what we use for canning. The next thing we add to the brine is 6 cups of granulated sugar. I know, it's a lot of sugar. But you don't eat just the brine, so this is 1/3 cup. So let me finish this cup, and I'm gonna get a bigger. So there's 1 cup. Two, 3, 6, 4, 5, 6. Now I will say that you're not going to eat a whole jar of these in one sitting. You just add a couple to the top of a bowl of chili, or onto tacos, or into a salad chopped up. So it's not like you're eating that much sugar all at one time. And it's a 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. And celery seed is something that I try to stock up on the off season. I use it mainly for canning, and it seems like during canning season, it goes on short supply. It can be hard to find that, and mustard seed. 3 teaspoons of granulated garlic. I don't like really hot food, but I love these, and they give just a little bit of a zing. I mean, you can leave the seeds out of the jalapenos if you want to have it less spicy. You can add cayenne pepper at this point. I never add the cayenne pepper. So let's stir this. It's pretty thick with sugar. Now I've washed my jars already. They're in the dishwasher, staying warm, so they will be ready. I have lids I'm going to wash and have ready. I'm using 4 jar lids. And I'm going to do this in half pints. You can do it in regular pints too, or even quarter pints if you wanted. Work out really well for us. I'm gonna put this on the stove, put it on medium to bring it up to a boil, and I'm gonna start processing the peppers. So I'll show you how I do that.
Make sure to wear gloves when you're going to cut up jalapenos or any hot peppers, because the oils and juices will get into your skin and your hands will burn afterwards. If you have a slight cut, it's really bad. So I always wear gloves, and if the fumes get too bad, I turn on my exhaust fan in my kitchen, and I've even been known to wear a mask to cover up. So all you do now is cut off the stem end, and if there's a hard core there, I take that out. If you want to remove seeds, this would be the point to do that. I leave most of the seeds in, and you just let them go whole if you're going to chop them up like I am. If you're going to make the rings, now is the time to slice them. And I'm putting them in a bowl. I have a garbage bowl for the ends and the cores if I've taken out any tough cores.
But this year I wanted to add some relish chopped up to go on things. So I'm going to pulse it. I'll quiet during this so you can't hear that. I'm going to put these in this bowl so I can process the rest. I reduced the brine, temperature on the brine. I reduced the temperature and set the timer, and it starts to thicken up. It's not as thin. We've added the peppers into the brine, and now this will go back on the heat for 4 minutes exactly. Okay, it's been 4 minutes, timer went off, and now you take a slotted spoon and you fill, it says to the 1/4 inch. Since this is going to be more dense than like the rings would be, I'm going to not take it up quite that high, and then the liquid will fill in the gap. And if you have leftover brine, I just jar it up and process it. It's a great marinade, or it's really good added to scrambled eggs. Now there is a lot of sugar in this brine, so you want to make sure you clean that rim really good. Put your flat on. And debubble. I don't know if I mentioned that. I showed doing it, but make sure you debubble. Now I gotta finger tight, don't keep pushing it. And this will go in the canner. I'm going to try and do it without the slotted spoon. The 1/4 inch mark is right here on my debubbler. So and it's hard to see it here, but it's right here on your ring, your wipe after you debubble. This does have to sit for like at least a month. I added the water to the canner, and now I'm going to increase the temperature and bring it to a hard boil, and then count. Once it comes to a hard boil, I will set the timer for 10 minutes. It's come to a full boil. I will set the timer for 10 minutes. They are out of the canner. Hopefully they all seal. You can see the seeds in them. So there will be some spice. And I always want them to pop when I'm on doing this video, but it doesn't always. If you can see, there's water on that one. Just leave it, it will all evaporate. So I will leave these until tomorrow morning, and then I will take the rings off and wash them and label them and store them. And hopefully they all seal. If one doesn't seal, I'll put it in the fridge and use it in a couple of weeks. But thank you for coming to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee, and I appreciate you stopping by.